Hey David, welcome. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm trying to figure out a new way to overlay chat inside my stream. YouTube evidently broke something, so things don't work the same anymore, and trying for 30 minutes or so to work out different ways, but won't have time, so I was just kind of researching a little bit. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 53 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Bard gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on a couple of admin notes, first, I am recovering. I'm on the back end of recovering from COVID, so if you hear my voice a little weird, or if there are some drops in the audio, it's probably me muting my microphone while I'm coughing or clearing out congestion or something like that. Don't want you guys to hear that all night long, so I do apologize, but it is what it is. On another admin note, it looks like YouTube has changed something, more than likely. They're constantly changing things, and my chat overlay doesn't seem to work anymore. I shouldn't say that. It works, it's just not accepting any of the CSS overlay commands to make it transparent and fade in and out and look nice. It would just look like a big browser window over there at the side, taking up a portion of the screen, and I don't want to have it blocking that portion of the screen just all the time. There's no point for it, so tonight, I apologize. I didn't find out about it until about 20 minutes before the stream started and tried a few things. Couldn't get it to work, so I think YouTube has actually changed something about that browser window and how it operates, so I'll keep doing some work between now and the weekend. See if I can get something else worked out and figured out before the honor mode live stream. I don't want to have to go to a subscription service or something like that, like Stream Elements or something like that to do it, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see if I can get something worked out. So, on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we ran into a bug with one of the NPCs in Felogyr's fireworks, and that was my fault for not remembering. Well, let me say this. It's Larian's fault for having the bug. But I've known about it, and it's my fault for not dropping a save before that encounter began. So, off stream, what I did was play back to this same spot where we were. We are in the middle of the fight. We have gotten it so that at least the NPC involved is not bugged out and causing the game to crash. He is currently alive, but he is moving. So I think we're going to be okay. Continuing on from here, I'm going to go ahead and kill him as quickly as I can anyway, even if it's not the most efficient way to do this, just to kind of remove that bug from the battlefield. But we're going to jump in here right into the middle of a fight and go from there. And hey Andy, welcome. I'm still on the back end of this thing. I'm a lot better. I will say that. A lot better than I was over the weekend. But yeah, still have shortness of breath, still have a lot of congestion, still some coughing while I clear some of this infiltration out of the top of my lungs. But no longer contagious, and hopefully much past the worst of it. So here we go. We are in the same fight where we were. We've killed the same NPCs that were dead previously. The only difference is that I wasn't unlucky enough to get one of them to throw a firebomb, an alchemist fire up here, so the room is still relatively intact here. But we did knock the Fist of Bane out the window, so he's out here somewhere trying to make his way back into the building. And Avery is now moving. He's downstairs, so he is moving. He's not trapped down behind his desk down on the ground floor and bugging the game out. So that's good. I am going to use my paladin just to wipe him out at the start of his turn, just so I can make sure that I get rid of him. But in the meantime, there's going to be probably one more here. I don't know if I'll be able to get will in place or not. So let's take a look at where we are in this combat cycle. So it looks like everything is up here is now clear. So we are here with our spiritual weapon. There's not going to be a whole lot. Going to be able to do with it. Okay, so let's get Shadowheart down here. I'd prefer not to take an attack of opportunity here. So, looks like some of the Flaming Fist outside are angry with us. This happens sometimes. Sometimes you'll get a patrol of them that are going to come in here and be angry about the whole thing. Is what it is. Again, I'd like to get down here and finish off Avery. Should have applied Hex first. All right. So let's get Will down here. Just getting more and more Flaming Fists show up here. It's like I got 2 full groups of them now. Turn off Spell Might. There's 1 crit, 2 crits.
Another fight. Let's go.
Hey. Thank you. We're gonna provoke this. Let him come to me and let Sentinel proc here. Or I mean, let Pollock proc. Okay, and there's Polearm Master. That's why Polearm Master is so strong. It allows you to prevent damage entirely by killing enemies on their way in. Okay, so where is everybody else? Down here. It's like they're outside. Going to be making their way in here, it looks like. Here's the second group. Okay. That's fine. They won't be able to make it to me this turn. I'll move down here, though, so I can log them up at the entryway here.
Well, so much for peace.
I'll move my bard down here. Kind of plug up the door. Alright. So this is going to be fun. I think that should be enough to kill him if it hits. Outstanding. And we might have a third group that's about to join us.
Light on my feet.
I'm gonna move down there here in a second. We'll wait for now. Now, I don't really know what happens when thunder damage interacts with boxes of fireworks. Shall we find out? Okay, it's right above the top of the door. No, doesn't look like I'm going to. It's acting weird with this door. You can see the arc is nowhere near it, but the dot is up there above the door. It's just not being able to throw through an open door type of thing that Baldur's Gate 3 just has more issues with open doors than it does with anything else. I'll start stacking up some radiating orb on them, though, while we're here.
Another fight. Let's go. Take extra.
Just gonna move back just a little bit, if we can. Make it harder for the archers to hit us. So let's focus the archer if we can. Alright, so I definitely want to move down here with Kurz, but let's get rid of the fist first. I definitely want to move Kurz down here. Come on, give me that one pixel where it works. There we go. That way, if they swing at my Bard, I can proc Sentinel here as well. Oof, that was a big hit.
Nothing important is ever easy. Take extra.
Easy. And the archers are always going to be fun, because we're going to have to start trying to track them down now. Probably should have turned Spellmight on with 90% chances to hit. Okay, interesting.
Think you can take me on?
Just a whole lot of misses. What is he rolling? A 1. A 3. A 4. Okay. Yep, makes sense. Can't roll anything above a 4. Things like that are gonna happen.
Still on my feet.
It's alright, I'll just let my bard clean everything up. And there's the next set. Let's just kill every flaming fist in the city. How about we do that? That was cute. He blew up the fireworks on himself to try and cause damage to me. That's amazing.
Where do I go from here? These boots have seen everything.
I don't think it is. This group showed up because they patrolled down here. The only question is whether or not I kill them and then another patrol takes their place and continues this thing on or not. What I'm going to actually do, I think, now that I think about this a little more, is I'm going to try and make my way back farther into the building and let them get into the building more.
Come on. Can't stay idle.
Oh, that was wrong. I'm going to try and bring them into the building more so that they're not just running around outside like this. Thank you. See if we can get a kill here with the butt of the staff. Outstanding. How about we close that door? Deliberately proccing Sentinel there.
Still on my feet.
Still got a bunch of movement left.
With haste.
We're gonna bring her inside.
Survival is all that matters.
What? Oh, okay. She's trying to shoot through the door and can't. That's interesting. I don't want to have to do this out here. What's the to hit chance? 90. Let's turn Spell Might on.
Survival is all that matters.
Nothing will stand in my way.
The ultimate shield. Closed door. Alright.
Blade at the ready.
Okay, so took a little extra combat there. I'm basically depopulating the fist from the south central, from the entire central part of the city to be able to clear this out.
I've got a long road
But
ahead.
we have finished it, so
I'm exhausted.
where's
somewhere to camp
Avery?
soon.
He's here. Avery's going to have a bunch of keys that are on him, including one of the vault keys for the counting house. He's also going to have a Mind Flayer Parasite on him, so that should up me to 17 here. Yes, it does. Okay, so we can go around and do a little more searching here. Let's see where we are with the carry weight. Okay, so
What's next, I wonder?
I will cure you of your pestilence.
the only good thing is that with all these dead fists, we're going to find a lot of valuable armors that we can sell. So we got a scribbled note here that you just learn a little bit more about it. It looks like they're worried about the toy maker and whether or not he's arousing suspicion. So they knew their days were fairly numbered. There's going to be a good amount of gold here, depending upon if you used her to purchase anything as well. But you're also going to get some decent items from her that you can pick up.
Awaken, little one. Flower and bloom.
Okay, so that's it for Shadowheart.
Defender of the people.
So what exactly did you see?
Okay, so he's done.
Blood.
Tell you what,
No, never mind.
try and find someone who can help your mind out. And we'll get you some.
And all of this stuff we would just go immediately sell.
Probably just a dead structure.
Okay,
I wonder what the
done
next
there
move is.
too.
No time for dally.
Can't give up now. With haste.
Okay, so let's head back upstairs. Oh no, here come the fist.
Arrest the smell?
Some help you are. Where's the steel watch when
Ugh.
Someone's reported a theft in this area. It seems you're the likely culprit. What will you do?
Fine.
Your contrition and the returned goods are enough to put things right.
That's all the armors.
Crimes
That-
being
oh,
investigated
jeez,
in
here we
this
go.
area. You appear to be the prime suspect.
Everyone went after a different person. So, I don't even know who we're talking to here. Doesn't look like it's anybody who has any decent chance of doing anything. It's Shadowheart.
You've been given the benefit of the doubt this
Oh,
is a
just as I was about to
restricted
click it.
area. Time to explain yourself, or this guard will be restricting
on.
you to a cell.
At least this time it's my bard.
Your conviction is enough. Should you attempt such a
Okay.
feat again,
Let's
you
get
will
outta here.
find yourself on the desert.
Jeez. This game sometimes saw me somehow looting stuff. The door was closed, so that little kid outside couldn't see me. But as soon as, and I looted them, but as soon as I opened the door, somehow they knew that I had looted them, got a negative attitude adjustment, called the city, the Flaming Fist, to investigate it. So yeah, sometimes it's weird how things like this work. So I'm gonna head back now to the Lower City Central Wall. And, well, I don't want to get that close. Let's just go to the Baldur's Gateway point. I can go over and sell this
Feel what exactly?
across the street here.
That weird something. I don't know. It's
I mean,
like
I could have sat here and just, like I say, depopulated this city of Flaming Fist. I mean, it wouldn't have
I should speak
It
up.
wouldn't have been that hard to do it, but there's just no need. It's just a stupid waste of time. I don't need the XP anymore. I don't need the gold. So,
I must say,
shouldn't have even
I'm
looted
damn lucky
anything.
you showed up when you did. Can you believe what that monster was doing? Well, the look on your face, jests aside, thank you. You forever. Very good, ma'am.
And I don't care about his attitude. I'm a little wondering why his attitude is not 100%. 'Cause I've sold stuff to him before. His attitude was obviously 100%. I wonder if the attitude throughout the entire city dropped because of killing all of the Flaming Fist. I actually just don't care anymore. I'm so tired of all of the weird stuff that has happened because of this interaction here at Felogyr's that I'm, like I say, I'm just done with it all. I just don't care anymore at this point. It is what it is, and I simply can't be bothered anymore. A little bit too much.
Now remember, fashion's a fickle mistress, so be sure to return.
Okay, and then I'm going to head back to the lower city central wall here. Go sell to the 2 merchants over here. Please let some flaming fist approach me over here and I have to get in a fight in the middle of the square.
Something caught your eye then? Careful. Most of my wares can take an eye right out.
Okay.
All of my wares are tried and true. Hells, some of them have probably already killed before.
So we completed investigate the suspicious toys. So we found out that there were Bay Knights that were making smoke powder fireworks. They were distributing them in explosives across the city, and we stopped them from doing it. So, and hey, Turtle, welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I know, Turtle. He's got a whole stock of them. I'm still wondering why his attitude wasn't 100. That's a little strange, but
I'll feel that one later.
okay. So now, what are we going to do here? And the first thing we're going to do is head back to the Basilisk Gate waypoint. And we're going to head over here to the poster about the anti-Hag support group.
Give it a shot.
Okay, they talk about a group of survivors that are meeting at Baron's Coop. And that's going to start the quest, Help the Hag Survivors. Now, Baron's Coop is down here. So let's go head over that way. So this quest is broken into 2 parts. The first part is Help the Hag Survivors, and that quest is going to be available if Mayrina is alive. Now for us in this playthrough, Mayrina is alive.
I do think it's our duty as citizens.
Yeah, that was right. Mayrina is alive, so we shouldn't have a problem going through this. Okay, and we need to make our way down here. And this is Baron's Coop. Okay, the door's locked. Can't remember how sporty the DC is. It's not bad.
What's that?
Okay, so if you pass a perception check, you're going to find an eviction notice. Okay, letting you know that they've been kicked out of here. And that's going to update the quest to let you know that they've been kicked out, but you don't know where. And here is a note that lets you know that they found a place for Mr. Garlow. And that's where they've gone to. And that's going to update the quest again to let you know that they're at old Garlow's place. Alright. So that's now going to update your quest line, and old Garlo's place is down here by the counting house.
You're just making that up.
Right down here.
Mind control charms! Get your mind control
It ain't
charms
right.
here!
They're pushing folk too far.
Okay, now down here, make sure you've got somebody who's able to persuade people, because you're going to need it.
We just going to let what's his name and his toy soldiers take over the
Okay, this one's a bit more sporty, so let me get some of this stuff quickly moved around. Okay, and then here, here, here. I shouldn't have done that. But I'll be okay with this. I just got rid of Hex. I'm gonna have to reapply it here in a second. Or recast it in a second.
My honor.
Okay, and you're gonna see a group in here talking.
Calm down, mate. The cleric has this place secure.
And you want to go interrupt it and get into a conversation.
Helm is on an intruder. These people are under my protection. I'll not let you harm them. Hearken to my words, wicked creature. Return to the pit of evil from whence you came.
Don't listen. Who knows what spells it weaves around us? Quickly, cleric.
Helm, protector of all, grant me the power to ignite this creature's flesh and burn its bones to ash. Begone, monster. Your hag mother holds no power here.
Here's what I meant about someone who can persuade or intimidate somebody. Because it is a fairly sporty DC.
Wait! Clyde smells no lie.
Then you speak truth. You fought a hag before. At ease, everyone. We may have found ourselves an ally. Forgive the paranoia. We're being hunted by a vile and wicked hag. We feared you, her minion. She's already hexed one of us, and any of us could be next. Because we dared to do the impossible. We dared to fight back. You see, all of us here have fallen victim to a hag's vicious ways. But instead of succumbing to despair, we rose above it. Thanks to Mayrina, our leader. Together, we've been helping others who've suffered at the claws of a hag. Only, Mayrina's been hexed by the very hag who now hunts us.
So here's what I mean about Mayrina. This entire thing is going to play out much differently if Mayrina is dead. As you will see when we get to this point in our honor mode playthrough, because of the mistake that I made a couple of weeks ago during that. So it's the quest line is still here. It's just a little different because Auntie Ethel's not dead when you kill her in Act 1. If you do kill her, like we did, not by accident, I intentionally did it. I just did it because I had completely forgotten about my notes and what I wanted to do. So it'll still be here, it just plays out differently And we'll get to see that in a slightly different way.
You're the one that saved her. The one that ventured to the depths of Ethel's lair. I can hardly believe it. You look so... normal. By Helm, perhaps there is hope. If anyone can help Mayrina, it's you. She's upstairs. But be warned. She's not as you remember her.
Okay, so I'm going to let everybody kind of maneuver around down here a little bit. I'm going to bring everybody in. I'm going to take my bard upstairs. And there is Connor and Mayrina.
Damn it! Listen to me. The doll. The doll. The doll. Find the doll.
Okay, and the doll she is talking about is back here in the corner. So, it's got the bad omen condition. So there's something suspicious about this doll, and it says this condition is the result of a curse. Now, it is resistant to a bunch of damage types. It's immune to other damage types. However, there is a simple way to get rid of it. And I'm going to take my bard back downstairs. And we're going to take Shadowheart upstairs.
This way.
We're going to cast Remove Curse on the doll.
And all that is broken.
You removed my hex. That's annoying. I wanted to play a little longer. Auntie likes her toys broken. She's not going to be happy I had to get my hands dirty. I don't matter. Only Auntie does. They want to hurt Auntie. They have the book. I will die before I let anyone touch a hair on her head. Ha! You have no idea how wrong you are. I have worshipped her for decades past, and will for decades more.
Okay, and now downstairs you can see that we've gotten into a fight. So as far as Shadowheart goes, we can get into this fight as well.
Better tread carefully.
Time to push my luck again.
Okay, now Mayrina and Connor are in this fight right now. So if I move into their vision cones, it might very well drop Shadowheart into combat here. But you can see what's happened is that Jatlo has now dropped his mask here, and he's a red cap. We've seen them before in the service of Auntie Ethel. So he has Auntie Ethel's blessing. So he's got an additional 40 hit points. Strength and Constitution is increased by 2, and his attacks do an additional 1d12 slashing damage, which is not cool. He's under the effect of Bloodlust, so he can attack 3 times, and he's going to regain 3d6 hit points if it lands a killing blow. So Bloodlust is definitely not cool. And then Steeped in Slaughter, so he has advantage on attack rolls against bleeding targets, and he can do this multi-attack while he's under Bloodlust. So he's not somebody to be underestimated here. He's badly outnumbered though. So now let's get going here and wait. Okay, so he's Fae. Okay, 265% missed. Thank you. Okay, at least he went after my bard. They just don't miss. I don't want to be going after them with him.
Treacherous prick!
Now, the armored crabs are nothing to joke about. They seem to hit a lot more than other things do for whatever reason. I mean, there's no particular reason why they should hit harder, or I mean hit more often, but they just seem to do. And they have high armor class. They have a 19 armor class. So, like I say, they're nothing to sneer at here. So let's see. That one's upstairs, okay. Let's just get rid of as many of these as we can. As quick as we can.
Move.
Paladin putting in work. The other three are upstairs. See? They just don't seem to miss. Like I say, they just don't seem to miss. Now, there is a way to get up here. Just like you saw the crab jump down through a tiny little hole there, you can do the same thing and fly up. You just have to get the right camera angle to see it.
Can't afford to let
can remove that disadvantage. All right.
That lying, thieving, scaly little shit! Thanks for knifing the bastard. That makes twice you've saved me. I'm starting to think you're my guardian angel. You too. I've come a long way since we last met. Decided I was sick and tired of feeling stupid, helpless. So I decided I wasn't going to be a victim anymore. This group is made of survivors. People like me who've been hurt by hags. I brought them together to fight back. We tracked a hag to the city, but lost her trail. Right after she snatched a little girl. None. Her mother has no idea of what she's up against. Poor woman thinks the Fist will be able to help her. The moment I started investigating the missing girl, I felt the hag's eye on me. Next thing, I was sprouting wool and bleating up a storm. Thank you. With you at our side, that hag won't know what hit her. Check the safe in the back. I've done my homework on hags since we last tangled with Ethel. Take whatever you need. I know it by heart anyway. Lora was knocking about Basilisk Gate, at the Flaming Fist's headquarters. Good luck.
Okay, and after completing Help the Hag Survivors, you get the Staff of Interruption. This thing's actually pretty good if you're doing a dual-wielding beat type of mage. To have a level 5 counterspell available to you from the Staff of Interruption is pretty nice. Now, it's once per long rest, but still, depending upon your builds like I am now, I don't have spell slots above level 3 for some of my characters, so having a level 5 counterspell means I'm going to be 100% successful on counterspelling those particular spells whenever I make the attempt. I won't have to be trying to counterspell a level 5 spell with a level 3 spell and then have to roll with disadvantage to make it work. So there's some definite benefits to having that with you. It's not something that I'm going to be utilizing on this one, I don't think. No, I'm not, because I'm not utilizing staves on Will. I'm using anything that will drop his critical hit chance.
No time to rest?
And as usual, I forgot to swap out gear on my bard.
Moving in.
Okay, so she said check the safe in back. Ah. And I always forget where it's at. There it is. See, I knew it was in one of these little alcoves. Okay, so here you have a journal where you can learn a little bit more about how they work. And there's detailed instructions on what the author calls Hag's Bane. Okay, and there's a recipe unlocked. If you open that up, it's actually a grenade. For Hag's Bane, you need any essence and dried fey flower. Okay, so any essence, I'm looking to see, we don't have any essences that are currently craftable, but that's easy to fix. And here's the ashes of dried fey flower. Okay? You definitely want to craft Hag's Bane before you go into the encounter with Ethel. And there's a reason for that. So where's Jatlo here? We can search him.
I know, Connor.
And he has a key to Ethel's lair.
All right. Hag first.
Okay,
Remember,
just a little note.
find a way to fix it.
You can find out that he's the one that hexed Mayrina
Hang on.
here. But you definitely want Ethel's lair key for this. And I don't think... Yeah, you can't search the armored crabs anyway, it doesn't look like. Alright, so that completes Help the Hag Survivors. We need to go speak to Lora about Vanra, and it starts the Avenge the Hag Survivors quest. So they told us that Vanra is back here by the Basilisk Gate.
Never a dull moment. Another step forward. Let's see what this does.
Not the safest place for us to be since we killed half of their guards. And here's Vanra. Or here's Lora, I mean.
How many times do I need to say it? You sent word about a lead, said that I should come see you about it.
Of course, madam. Let me just... Forgive me, why are you here?
Is this some kind of sick joke? Do you have any idea what I've been through these past few days? Yes, her name is Vanra. This stupid, useless fist said she had a lead, but she must have been stuck in Dream Mist or something.
Madam, tell me. You said... she was... taken from a tavern?
You catch the barest tendrils of magic coiled around the flaming fist.
Yes, the blushing mermaid down by the docks. I told you 100 times. Why aren't you listening?
Okay, we have an Arcana check. We're probably not going to be able to pass this. You could prepare for it better if you want. I don't think it really... Well, it does not really matter. Oh, what do you know?
Someone or something has tampered with her memory.
What were we discussing?
What is happening? I feel like I'm going mad.
A hag? Preposterous. No such creature would dare set foot in the city.
Don't scare me more than I already am. What would a hag want with my Vanra? She's just lost. That's all. Oh, I'm so afraid. And so tired. I've been looking night and day, everywhere I could. I've no family, and Vanra's father isn't around. A flaming fist were my last resort. You will? Thank you. I haven't slept or eaten since she disappeared. I'm terrified something has happened to her. Her name is Vanra. She's 7 years old and has red hair, like me. We were in the Blushing Mermaid when she was taken. Just up by the docks. No, unless you count a couple of old drinking mates at the next table. But they'd be no help. They barely remember their own names. I was sober though. I swear. I stop in the maid for a drink sometimes. But it was only a quick one. Of course. The front of house, Bosun Gannet was there, and the owner of the Blushing Mermaid, Captain Grizzly. Neither lifted a finger to help me look. It was awful. Thank you. I'll head home. Can't stand being around these idiots any longer. Come find me the moment you hear anything.
Okay, so we've learned here that Vanra went missing at the Blushing Mermaid. Now the Blushing Mermaid is somewhere that we haven't been before, and it's down here. So we're going to head to the Baldur's Gate waypoint. We're going to start making our way down there, but along the way we're going to take a long rest because we are dreadfully short of action economy here. And we're going to get into a fight, and we want to be prepared for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take our long rest. We'll just quickly have our conversations here.
We get along quite well, I think.
Fine lodgings you have found, my friend. Who is already in negotiations with the guardian spirits of this place. In Baldur's Gate, they are likely to be rat-formed and eager to charge rent. But Boo shall secure safe slumber for all. Now, what do you need of Minsk?
Okay, nothing new there.
Almost pleasant traveling with company, if you ignore all the less pleasant aspects.
What is it, Cub? You'll need to free up your ranks a little first.
Whoops.
Don't rush on my account.
Oakfather preserve you.
Okay.
Let's talk.
Yes, let's talk so we can get rid of that icon above your head. That will stay gone for all of 2 minutes.
Copper for your thoughts.
How can I help?
Okay, so it doesn't look like we have anything new from our companions.
Hello, my dear.
So we'll just go ahead and take our long rest. And don't worry, we're going to be dealing with the culmination of this quest line here in a little bit as well. Not today, obviously, but soon. Okay, so we're gonna move over here. Actually, we're not. We're going to bring Zenith into our party.
This vessel is at thy disposal.
I'm gonna drop Shadowheart out.
But the vessel only stares blankly.
This soul awaits thy command.
Okay, now we're gonna move over here. Going to move our paladin over here, and we're gonna move Zenith
moving ahead
here and get ready to cast Hero's Feast. Perfect. And then, as we discussed in the Paladin playthrough, we're going to have Zenith use his Divine Intervention. We talked about Divine Intervention during that playthrough. I'll quickly go through it here. You can use this Divine Intervention once per playthrough. You can use it on once per character per playthrough, I should clarify. So Zenith is going to be able to cast it. You could respec anybody to be a level 11 cleric when you get access to this and have another cast of it. But we only need one here. Shadowheart has her own cast of it that we're going to keep in reserve. But when you cast it, you have 4 different options here. The first being that you can cause a massive damage, an AoE damage of radiant energy. 8d10 is huge. It's one of the biggest single damage spells in the game, with a maximum of 80 damage. So Disintegrate does up to 100. So there are, and then one other spell can do 90, that we'll actually see a little bit later. But it's one of the highest damaging spells in the game. You only get one cast of it though, just like for all of these. You can also use Opulent Revival. This brings all fallen companions back with half their hit points. And it restores all nearby allies' action economy as if they had long rested. Okay, so again, this is the one that you save. So if you're almost on the verge of a party wipe, your cleric can cast it and bring everybody back and get back into the fight. It's your last ditch kind of thing to save your playthrough. Golden Generosity gives you a chest that has a bunch of potions and camp supplies in it. And there's a lot, and the potions are really good. Casting this at this time, though, you don't really need it. You should be at a level where you have thousands of camp supplies. So this is kind of a wasted one. But then the last one is Arm Thy Servant. It grants you a legendary weapon forged in the fires of your holy bond. Okay. And that gives you the Devotee's Mace. Alright, now this is a mace that deals radiant damage. And it deals 1d8 radiant damage. And 1d4 is normal for damage writers on weapons. 1d6 is fairly rare. I think there are only 4 weapons that deal 1d6 as a damage writer. This one deals 1d8, which is almost unheard of from a weapon to deal. So having radiant damage right off the bat because of this weapon is great. It's a +3 weapon in and of itself. And then it comes with the Healing Incense aura. So when you use this, it's once per long rest, but it puts out an aura that for 9 meters around you, you and all of your allies within that aura regain 1d4 hit points at the start of your turn, and it lasts for 10 turns. Okay? So it can really be helpful to maintain hit point pools for a group of people that are around you. That's like casting Mass Healing Word at level 1 and getting 1d4, but just getting it for free passively for 10 turns throughout a fight. So it can be very, very useful to have. And it can be transferred to other people.
Is that blood? No.
Now I'm going to bring Kurz back into the party.
A good moment to talk.
Or no, I'm going to bring Shadowheart back into the party.
I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad to have some company on this journey. It seems like you have ample company already. Wonderful.
And now for Shadowheart. Right now, she's got Nyrolna, which is great. Again, it's got 1d6 thunder damage as a damage writer. That's really nice. Nyrolna is a great weapon. We've been using it because the thunder damage aspect of it allows her with the Boots of Stormy Clamor, with the Gloves of Belligerent Skies, to inflict reverberation whenever she deals that thunder damage. However, the Gloves of Belligerent, and then once she procs reverberation, that procs the Boots of Stormy Clamor to also inflict more reverberation, and that sort of stuff. However, the thing that comes with this is that we also have other things that go off with radiant damage. And the Gloves of Belligerent Skies also proc with radiant damage. So now if we swap this out, she doesn't lose any damage from an attack. You can see for her it's still 8 to 20 damage with either one of these. However, she gains an additional radiant damage. It's still +3 to hit. She gains the healing aura, which is nice. She loses a little movement speed and immunity to falling damage, and she loses the proficiency unlocks down at the bottom. But being able to proc radiant damage with an attack means she's going to then proc a radiant shockwave. So now if she deals radiant or a melee attack, she can proc radiant shockwave, which is going to put radiating or illuminating orbs, radiating orbs on everybody, which is a condition which procs reverberation. The whole thing just stacks on top of each other. So I'm going to take the healing aura with this, and we'll kind of see that played out here in a little bit.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Let's go ahead and leave camp. And we will get buffed back up here.
What's next?
We'll look at Shadowheart with the Drakethroat Glaive. Make sure that our Paladin has the spear on his back. Give him a cold damage rider. Top of that, and then we'll get her equipped again.
No one stopped me yet.
Okay, and now let's work our way into the area. Now we were looking for Bosun Gannet. Outside, right? If I remember right. Oh, let's make sure we do that right now while we're here. We're going to pick up enough stuff for an essence, so a couple of acorn truffle is probably, or a couple of swarming toadstool. So here's acorn truffle. So we'll split off 2 of these. Okay, and let's go ahead and craft this real quick. Okay, and then we'll go to grenades, and we'll craft Hag's Bane. Now, you only need 1 of these, so don't bother bringing a transmutation wizard in here to get bonus ones of this. You just simply don't need it. There we go. We're carrying a boatload of gold there. Again, that we don't need. I think the bag of hands weighs. Nope, it doesn't. Or the handbag. Okay, so our arrows are getting a little unwieldy here. But we'll be using some more of those. So let's sort those out. An easy way to sort these out instead of dragging them on top of each other is just to take all when you take all, it combines them all in your inventory. And then you can just put them back. Okay, so we've got some good aberration slaying arrows, so we'll remember that as we're going through this. So now we should have, or we do have the Hag's Bane. And we'll see that come into play here in a little bit. Okay, so here's Bosun Gannet.
No pissing or shitting. If you break it, you pay for it. Any fighting and Captain Grizzly will shank you. Got it? Gods above. Not again. You pull a knife on me like the last one and you're getting a boot, you hear? That woman, Lara, Lora, whatever her bloody name is. She was screaming her head off about some kid. Tore the place apart. Bloody disturbing. Captain Grizzly had to clock her in the end. Threw her out on her arse. Good riddance.
Okay, so you learned from him that she was in here complaining about her daughter, and she had to talk to Captain Grizzly. And the quest is updated here, so we should speak to Captain Grizzly about it. Now, this conversation can go two different ways. Captain Grizzly's here. Okay. Now, Captain Grizzly's listed as a level 11 human who also has alert and dark vision, even though she's a human. Humans don't have dark vision. As a racial trait, she could be getting it from something else, that some piece of gear or item or something, but kind of weird. You can see she's walking around and she's kind of talking to herself a little bit. So let's go talk to her.
Unless the maid is... Can't a captain be bloody hungover in peace? Oh. Why, hello there. Captain Grizzly at your service. What can I do for a long drink of water like yourself?
For the super observant among you, you may recognize the, oh, well, hello there, as being a line that somebody else spoke to us a very long time ago.
Oh, not this claptrap again. Listen, Lora was here, all right? Knocking back pints like there's no tomorrow. But she was alone. I saw head nor ass of this so-called kid, and when we tried to kick her out, she pulled a knife on my front man. Bet she didn't tell you that bit, huh? That's 'cause she's taking you for a ride. And not the fun kind. Look, I know Lora from my pirating days. She ran with Bart Blackdagger's crew. Heard they tossed her overboard when she gutted the bosun over a game of cards. Now, I'd no beef with her before this. All are welcome in the maid. But threatening my staff, claiming we took her kid, she's bonkers. Dangerous. Next time she pulls a knife on me and mine, someone might die. Something has to be done. There's one way and one way only to shut someone up. She's dangerous. And I couldn't call myself a captain if I stood by and did nothing. I hate that it's come to this, but I'll pay a hoard of gold to whoever scuppers her. Permanently.
Okay, now here's where this conversation can go two different ways. If you choose option number 4, then you are going to immediately get dropped into a fight. Captain Grizzly is actually Auntie Ethel in disguise. Or she's the hag who was disguised as Auntie Ethel once, now disguised as Captain Grizzly. She will reveal herself. She will teleport to her lair, and 2/3 of the patrons inside the bar here are going to turn hostile, and they're red caps. They're leveled up red caps like we've seen previously, and they will just start laying waste to this entire thing. They will go not just after you, but any of the named NPCs that are in here as well. So you don't have to save those NPCs, by the way. So if they all die, it is what it is. But if you want to roleplay this a little bit, you can save them by not exposing the hag here. So if you absolutely want to do it, you can take number 4 and have this fight. But there's another reason other than just saving the tavern patrons here to not expose the hag. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. I'm just going to pick I need to think about it.
Well, don't take too long, or someone else might get there before you.
Okay, that's the non-committal answer. And you can see that we have some tipplesome patrons. And we have some named NPCs. All of the tipplesome patrons are red caps in disguise. Every single one of them. Okay, so things can get a little interesting up here if you are going to expose the hag here. Okay, you certainly can. I just wouldn't recommend doing it that way. Okay, so if we look back at our quest, the captain asked us to kill Lora before she hurts anyone else, and this doesn't really give us any more hint here. However, there are a couple of things. One, you can see that there's a cellar door that leads us down this way. Okay. This is one way into the basement. There's also another way, and I have to remember where it is. Actually, let's go looking for it, because it's been so long since I've done this quest. Yeah, it's right here, I believe, is the other way down.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
Okay, this leads you into the basement, into a storage room. This cellar door here is what leads you up to Captain Grizzly's office, so to speak, up there. But if you look around in here, you can see a few other things, and one of them is right up here. So we're going to have Shadowheart.
Always sharp.
Let's get going.
Cast guidance, and we're gonna fly up here. Okay, so we failed the investigation check by everybody here. Did everybody fail it? Shadowheart did not fail it. So she's the last one. I didn't think this check was that hard. Oh, okay. So it is a 15. That's my fault. I should have prepped for this.
What am I to do?
that one, this one. Where's the warped headband of intellect? Nope. Put this on first. We'll shapeshift her. That gets us mark of the shifter. Reapply the warped headband of intellect. Put the Eversight ring back on just so we don't forget it. Going to cast guidance on myself. And let's see if I can pass it here.
That might be
there it
worth
was. So we found this little room here, and if you kind of walk up to it and walk through it, you're on this platform, and there's a door down here. And a movable wall kind of over here. Now there's another way. Okay, so it's not going to let me fly through the door.
What to do?
So Shadowheart can now remove shapeshift. Okay, and you can kind of see from a mini-map there, it looks like there's another way to go here, and there will be.
All's well that ends.
So we're going to take our bard and go up this way. And we're going to put all of my thief gear back on. Oh, that is here, here, here. We're also going to take the Sentinel Shield, Shadowheart, because that gives us advantage on perception checks.
Bet I can crack that open.
Rolled poorly, but well enough. And we do have a wooden chest back here you can search. It's just got some gold in it. Now we're going to go into hiding here and open this door. Okay, now very similar to Auntie Ethel's previous lair, there are some masks, some mask individuals down here. Okay, and the same masks that we had, terror, vengeance, servitude. However, Captain Grizzly is actually here, and she's under the ephemeral whispers condition. Okay, now just like the previous Auntie Ethel's lair, you could, in the past, I don't know, I tested it during the honor mode playthrough and it didn't work. So I don't know if it's going to work here. I assume it's, well, it should work here because we're killing Auntie Ethel. But in previous versions, or if you decide to kill Auntie Ethel in Act 1, if you don't kill the masked individuals, then the mask will lose its power. Now in Act 1, 3 out of the 4 masked individuals they had been driven mad. There was no, that you could interact with them, but there was no making sense of them. The other one said that they were heading to Baldur's Gate. It's the same thing here. We're going to kill Auntie Ethel, and as soon as we do, the masks are going to lose their power. And that means if you haven't killed any of them, they are going to revert to normal. Now again, just like the last time, spoiler alert, 3 out of the 4, their minds are scrambled. However, this gives you the opportunity to save Captain Grizzly. Now you can go in here just like you did in Act 1 and clear them out. Okay? If you do, that's going to make the fight against Auntie Ethel easier, because the first thing Auntie Ethel's going to do if they're still alive and they're out here is she's going to summon them to her during the fight, and you're going to have to contend with them. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. One, because it's balanced mode, and I'm not too worried about it at the end of the day. But 2, because we want to save Captain Grizzly here, and it's just something that you might not see very often. Most people will go in and just kill everybody, and that's certainly a thing to do. They are marked as hostile. They are red icons, so feel free to go in here and do it, but we're not. What we're going to do instead is make our way around the corner here. Now you need to be careful when you do this, because there are some traps. So you want to make sure that your perception skill is high. You also want to watch the detection cones for a little bit. So just kind of sit here and kind of watch where the detection cones go in this area, because you don't want to get accidentally overlapped by one of them and get seen while you're trying to do this. Okay? So kind of give it a second and just watch a little bit through this area, and you'll kind of see that we get a detection cone that comes up to maybe here or something, and another one that cuts off this area down here, but they normally don't come all the way up here. I don't believe. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've gone through this, so we're going to cast guidance here. Yeah, see, there it was. Came down to there, came up to here. Yep. That should be about the end of what we see. From casting guidance, I'm going to immediately go into hiding again, and I'm going to start making my way around the corner here.
This place. Why does it remind me of
Okay, I
Auntie
failed
Ethel's
that
home?
perception check, which isn't cool. I was hoping to be able to do it all here, but I rolled an 8.
My faith protects me. Unnoticed. Good.
So now we're going to swap shields with Shadowheart and get her perception skill up. She probably still has them. She does. So let's just shapeshift her.
Perfectly hidden. Need to press onward.
Baby must be so happy with Auntie.
Unseen. Perfect.
See if she can pass this.
Avoid that trap.
Okay. Now we'll continue walking carefully around the corner. Okay, there's that perception check. There's one more. Okay. We'll make our way back. We'll bring somebody in here who can lockpick this, or who can sleight of hand this.
I can be subtle sometimes.
And again, you want to cast guidance before you go out there, because if you cast it while you're doing the disarm, it knocks you out of hiding.
Thank you, Auntie.
Thank goodness for advantage. And there's one more trap in here.
Watch how you go. There's a trap.
Oof. That's a failure. Nope. Rolled well. Okay, now for this, I'm going to turn off the lantern. Because we're going to get knocked out of hiding here, and we're going to have to pass a saving throw when we open this door. Okay, the DC here is pretty high, but it's just a sleight of hand check. That's a failure. But I can use Thieves' Tools to go through this multiple times. Oh, jeez. Okay, now before I open that,
let's see.
I'm gonna go back into this room over here just to be safe.
Light on my feet.
And I'm gonna cast guidance again. Because I'm gonna have to...
Don't want to draw any attention.
Now this door...
Have to keep going.
So many dates to plan.
I'm gonna kind of stand over here. They're all facing away from me, so I'm gonna go into turn-based mode. And open the door. There's the save against Vicious Mockery. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna close it behind me. Okay. So now we're inside of her lair here. And... well, I still have guidance. I can pass a perception check. You don't need to. It just highlights the lever here. And the lever opens the door into this room.
I'm ready. Onward.
Better make my next move.
Okay, now I honestly can't remember if there are any traps in here or not. I don't remember there being, but again, it has been a really long time since I've been here. So I'll just go walking around and just check real quick.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Just taking it slow, and then we'll really talk about the exploration of this place once we've made sure that it's safe. Pretty sure there's nothing down here. I just couldn't remember if there was anything out here in this main area, so I'm pretty sure we're clear. Yes, we are. Okay, now... kind of explaining this room a little bit. The first thing to realize is that we have some haste spore blooms around here. Okay, so we have access to haste. They come from these barrel stalks. Okay, if you walk through it, you get haste for 2 turns. Right? So these haste spores, the barrel stalks are nice. Remember that they're here. So you can utilize those to gain an additional action during all of this. The other thing that you're going to notice are these glowing pearl spore bells. And there are 3 of them. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one way out here. Okay. These are what allows Auntie Ethel to resurrect herself every time she dies. So, if you come about this fight normally, when you get here, Auntie Ethel will already be in this room. Because you will have talked to Captain Grizzly up there. You will expose her. She will teleport to this room. Very, very similar to how she did in Act 1. And she will be in here. And when the fight starts, she will either summon her allies from out there, or the combat will commence like normal. The thing is that if you end up killing her, she will resurrect herself, and you'll have to start the fight all over again. What keeps her from doing that is if you kill the Pearl Spore Bells. So, the game is not dumb enough to let you kill the Pearl Spore Bells here before you bring Auntie Ethel down here. Once one of them dies, you can attack these all you want. Okay? Every round, they heal themselves, and that's what makes it difficult to kill them. But once you kill one of them, you will summon Auntie Ethel to this room. Okay, she will pop into this room, have a conversation with you, and the combat will start. But at least that gets rid of one of them out of the 3. So it's kind of in your best interest to get rid of one that's going to be more difficult than the others to deal with. First of all, this one here and this one here, you can actually reach. You can actually get next to them.
Never a dull moment. What path lies before me?
You can actually do it if you have a decent enough strength. Okay, so now we can engage this one with melee attacks. The one here, you can obviously engage in melee attacks, but this one is better taken at range. And the reason I say that is that if you jump up here, which you certainly can, with a high enough strength, you can make the jump to get from here over to here. You are much more likely to get knocked off of this into the chasm out here at this location, because you certainly can be shoved off of it. This one over here, you're kind of backed into a corner. There's no way that you can be shoved off of it and thrown into this chasm. So what I normally do is I set one of my big strength melee characters up here next to this one. Now, I kind of know what the layout of this is going to be and where things are going to spawn in this room. But Auntie Ethel's actually going to spawn all by herself
Swift as my feet can carry
to
me.
start this. And she will remain by herself until she sees you, until you move into one of her detection cones. But she's going to be patrolling around here, so the detection cones are not static. So yes, good call. Thank you very much, Andy. There you go. That's why I love my chat. So it's hard to stay out of her detection cones all of the time, but these two locations, if you're standing here, you won't be out of it, but this one you can be. So it's possible to start the combat, or it's possible that while Auntie Ethel's in the room, that you can actually be taking this one out without drawing her ire as well. You just have to work very quickly. And there's something else about the Pearl Spore Bells. They have this healing pearl ability. At the start of its turn, this mushroom regains all of its hit points unless some effect prevents it from restorative healing. Alright? So unless you can do 55 hit points in one go, in one turn, it's going to get all of its hit points back next turn. Now it's immune to poison and psychic, but it doesn't have any other resistances. But a way to get around that is by utilizing Chill Touch, if you have it.
The pride of the gate.
Which we do, or Bone Chill, which we do on Will. Or using something like an Arrow of Ilmater, or something like that to prevent it from healing in its turn. Alright? So I'm going to kind of maneuver people out of the way. Yeah, William, I don't think there's really a whole lot to the shields. I'll look and see, because all I did was had the Sentinel shield, but I think she normally wears that anyway. She does, yeah. But no, thank you for reminding that I changed it. I guess I probably could change it out for another +1 to her armor class, but the Sentinel shield gives her a bonus to her initiative rolls as well. So since Shadowheart doesn't have the greatest dexterity, this will help her roll better in the initiative. So, yeah, the Iron Bandage shield +1 is the same as this, and it's the same as the shield +1. So, getting the best armor class I can out of everybody here, I think. So, but yes, thank you again for the reminder. Always a good thing, just to check it. So, I'm gonna take Shadowheart and kind of move her out here.
Have to keep low.
Okay. I'm going to start this off. Okay, because I can hit it from here. So I'm going to start this off by attacking this Pearl Spore Bell with Will. And then I'm going to have Kurz up here because it's not immune to radiant damage. So Kurz, on his first round, is going to drop this Pearl Spore Bell. Then he's going to jump back into the fight, and I will see about managing this. Hopefully on his way back in here, to see he can jump quite a ways. Hopefully I can get to the haste spore. Actually, I guess I can test it now. Yeah, see, he'll be able to get to the haste spore.
Need to find a way forward.
That's going to give him movement back. I don't think I can get down here to this. And still reach it. Yeah, I can't. I'm a little bit short to do that, but that gets me an idea. So then I can get him ready to be able to take out this on its next turn. Alright. I'm going to drop my Bard, actually,
in it.
right here. Actually, I was going to, but yeah, that's where I went. Oh no, it keeps refreshing. Go away, then come back. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to put her there. I'll leave her out here in the middle so that she is somewhat near the haste spores, but also is near to where Auntie Ethel's going to spawn.
No time to rest.
Take Kurz back here, get him ready to drop this one. See if I can actually move him back a little. Maybe I can get him close enough. That's still good enough.
Just out of view.
Where am I needed?
No one back home will ever believe
Okay,
this.
and then Shadowheart is in hiding back here. So I think we're good. So Will is going to now start going after this one. And he's going to use Bone Chill, which is a cantrip. So he can cast it over and over and over again until this thing is dead. And this is necrotic damage, not poison.
No, Ethel. That wasn't very polite. Did you think you were the first? That I didn't plan for it, Petal? That said, I'm shocked and appalled. I can't believe you tried to gush me out in the open like that. After all, it's not just me anymore. What is it they say? Eating for two. I gobbled myself up a sweet little girl, and she was so very tasty. Vanra sits in my belly, growing fat with power. In time, I'll vomit her up and have myself a fresh young hag to train. I have you beat, so do the heroic thing. Die! Come, darlings. Help Auntie.
Okay, and like I say, very similar to the previous one. She's going to use her first turn to summon the people from outside, as well as duplicate herself. So now I was hoping, actually, that Kurz would not get brought into combat, but he failed his hide check. Okay, so I'm going to have to deal with that. But Shadowheart is still out of combat. She has not been brought into combat yet. She's back here in this room. And I can bring her into combat whenever I want because the detection cones don't overlap this entrance. Okay? So keep that in mind, in that I have a resource here. Now, with this, we need to get rid of some of these people that are going before us in the initiative order. So the Mask of Terror down here, we're going to have Shadowheart occupy. But let's see if we can get rid of some of these other hags here, because we really don't want them casting Hold Person or Ray of Sickness on us. And we have an advantage to be able to do that, and that is our Slashing Flourish range. We can attack 2 different targets with this. Okay. And now that last one is down here. So let's go ahead and use a second one of those. And we'll get some damage on Auntie Ethel here as well. Okay, so maybe not. But now we're gonna move in here. It's going to haste. And we're going to shriek. And with our bonus action, we'll reapply Hex. I just deciding who to... Yeah, she doesn't have any resistances. And we didn't look at Auntie Ethel. She's pregnant, right? So killing the hag will lead to the child's death. There's two ways to deal with this. First, you can use non-lethal attacks to knock her out. And then she will... Then, once you approach her afterward, you can cut Vanra out of her body. So that's the first way to do it. The second way is to use Hag's Bane. It will make her throw Vanra up, and then you can go about killing the hag all you want. Now, the thing about that is that Vanra will pop out here and be in this room. People tend to ignore her, but there is a possibility that she can die. So if you're going to do that, then it's best to... And we rolled... Our initiative is kind of all broken up here, which is bad. We'll see where Shadowheart rolls. But hopefully you can... I'm hoping that Shadowheart can roll, like, in between here. Or in between here or here, so that the first person who goes can throw the Hag's Bane at her, make her puke up Vanra, and then I can use the other person to kill Ethel on their turn. So you whittle Ethel down to a small pool of hit points left, and then right before you kill her, then you toss Hag's Bane at her. Get her to puke up Vanra, and then you kill her immediately afterward, and that will keep Vanra safe, because then the combat's going to end at that point. So she also has Lair magic, so she has magic resistance down here, so she has advantage on saving throws against all sorts of spells and that sort of stuff. But other than that, nothing really special about her at all. Okay, so now we're going to get the Mask of Terror, which is down here, and we're actually going to bring Shadowheart in now.
Any mistakes? Onward.
And again, the other masks, if you want to take them out, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing special about them. They're not going to be able to be saved. In their conditions, they are... so if they die, it's not really a huge loss here. But I'm going to... Not sure how these detection cones work. They look a little wonky. I don't know if I can fly up here or not. I don't know if that's because the detection cone down here kind of goes into the wall and it disappears. Now that's a pretty good height. So that might be true, but I don't know if it is. Okay, so it was. These detection cones are right. Okay, now Shadowheart, if she tries to fly over here, I'm pretty sure there's nowhere she can get that won't trigger a detection cone. But maybe that one will work. But I'm not really interested in that. And the reason I wanted to get Shadowheart up here is so that I can cast Spirit Guardians here. I want to get in the middle of this, and this is going to give Shadowheart another way to kind of maneuver around and cause damage while she moves. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so that detection cone was broke, and everybody is broken apart by somebody else. I couldn't get a single person to roll next to each other. So yeah, that detection cone was wonky there. Tried to move in, and it just wasn't there. So we'll end this and let the Mask of Terror down here have a turn.
No choice but to keep going.
Okay, so it's moving it to me. I guess they're not getting a turn this first one. So I'm going to see if I can get rid of this one here. Okay, so it's not allowing me to... It's not even asking me for
If I wanted
my Divine Smites.
it wouldn't be you I'd call.
So let's jump as far out here as we can. Let's run through the haste spores.
One day I'll catch a break.
And now let's get all the way down here. We're gonna manually use Divine Smite here. Okay, so I can't use Divine Smite on an inanimate object. Okay. Let's see if we can kill it. Okay, so we will. I'm just going to have to use Action Surge to do it. Actually, I can just do it with Will, I guess. He's going to go next. Mask of Vengeance is going to hurt. This is a gamble. I can play it safe and just Action Surge here. I would prefer to save my Action Surge for Ethel. Let's gamble.
Forever dauntless.
Because to do this, I'm going to want to move over here, but I'm going to provoke an attack of opportunity from him. I guess I could Misty Step instead. Also need to make sure I still have line of sight. I can see it. Perfect. Let's bring Spell Might into this. I know I can hit that. Then Auntie Ethel, it's a 40% chance. Oh yeah, I guess we'll leave it off. Okay, so all the
Fungi are worth 1,000 of you peasant.
So all of the mushrooms are gone. So she is no longer going to be able to resurrect herself. So if she dies here, she dies here. And that's just it.
Finding my way.
I'm going to save my Action Surge. And now Auntie Ethel's going to come around for her turn. Okay, that was almost bad. Curse of Terror. Not too worried about 2d4 psychic damage. Okay, so now let's get in here. And neither one of these are Captain Grizzly. Captain Grizzly's over here. So let's get in here.
Got to move.
Okay, now for them, and this one's a monk, so you have to watch out for that fist of air shoving attack that they have. So yeah, see that they're monk based, but doesn't have any resistances, so let's go ahead and drop the spirit guardians here. We're gonna do radiant damage. We're gonna upcast this to 5. Okay, that's got radiant orb on everybody. Multiple stacks of it, so there's all -4, -6 to hit for Auntie Ethel. And we'll bring out the spiritual weapon.
I'll shank the bastards on their own. I swear it.
Okay, so command halt would make me skip my turn, basically. I'll counterspell that. Command halt is level 1. Please go after my paladin. Okay, thank you. So, doesn't matter whether I make this attack or not. I would prefer not to, I think. Doesn't he have... No, he doesn't. Okay. So he's barbarian type. He doesn't have that, like the previous Mask of Vengeance did, where he would get a return attack every time you attacked him. So, oh yeah, he does. There's Vengeful. I take that back. There it is. So you don't want to engage in melee attacks with him because he'll use a reaction to counterattack with Vengeful Strike. And that thing does a stupid amount of damage. 9 to 20 damage and 4 to 14 psychic damage. I mean, it's... I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So I'm not going to go after him with this because I don't want to proc that reaction. He dashed, so his action's done. He's not going to be able to do anything once he's here except use a bonus action if he's got anything he wants to use. Oh, what is this? Okay, thank you. I was like, I've never seen that happen.
Where could I be?
Okay. Now, you can see where she is. She was revealed. She failed her save against my invisibility. She failed it. So, oh, it was a DC 22. She rolled a 20. So she got pretty close. But now again, we want to get rid of some of these hags that are out here. And I am perfectly suited to be able to do that. So where are they all at? I see... Oh, they're the others are invisible. Okay. Let's go... Let's maneuver around a little bit here. Okay. And let's get rid of... Looks like we've got 3 of them revealed here. Let's get rid of 2. 1, 2. Okay, we've got 1 more down here, so there's 2 more hidden. There's probably 1 back here, but let's maneuver down here. See how much movement we have. Actually, let's move here for... Oh yeah, there's the other one. Okay. Let's maneuver down here. I don't think I can hit it from there. Oh, I can. Okay. I must have missed one. I missed them both. I rolled double ones. Nice. Beauty, eh? Okay, so now we're going to move up here and get close to Ethel so she's in the shriek. Because our paladin is going to come in here and hopefully drop a bunch of damage on her. And I'm not too worried about that. I flicked it by just rote memory. Shouldn't have. I wasn't planning to. Okay, so we're gonna move over here. This is gonna get Captain Grizzly, but I don't have to, I don't think. Okay, and with only 61 hit points left, I'm actually going to chuck the Hag's Bane. Because I'm pretty sure my Paladin's going to be able to remove all of those hit points here coming up on his turn.
What did you... Stay down, Vanra! No! No! Stay down!
I don't think the Spirit Guardians is going to hurt her.
You cost me a fresh young hag. I'm going to paint the wall with your guts, you little shit stain.
Okay, so there she goes. So, oh, they've actually updated this now. Oh no, she does stay in the room. Okay, I was like, I thought she, because she didn't used to run all that way around. She was kind of like, what's his name? Down at the Harpy Shore. So they must have updated this to make it easier to save her due to that, because it wasn't like that when my Paladin came through here before patch 6. So, but that's good to know. It's good to know that they've made it a little easier that way. So I think here I'm just going to start blowing Ethel up. That stacked up enough reverberation to knock her prone. So now, even with her 17 armor class, she's going to get beat up here on the next turn by my Paladin. Now my Paladin's going to have an attack of opportunity here to deal with from the Mask of Vengeance, but it is what it is. Not too worried about it. Oh, yeah, forgot about the healing incense. Alright, don't need it. Alright, so we'll take the attack of opportunity here. Perfect. Now that she's prone, I have advantage on these attacks. And Yeah, she's just done. Look, she's got a -10 to hit with 10 radiating orb stacks. Yeah, she's beat up here, to say the least. So let's go ahead and just finish her off. I don't even need to Divine Smite. Okay, so we get Shadowheart to drop Spirit Guardians here.
All right. What now?
My Shriek is going to run out. And now you can see that the masks, just like previously, are here. And you can talk to them.
Something's on my mind.
Have you seen Auntie? I need to find her before they come back.
But again, there's nothing you can do for them. They're just too far gone.
Auntie has my baby! Where is he? Where is my baby?
Auntie! Where is Auntie?
But Captain Grizzly is still alive.
I've raided warships, fought every beastie the sea can throw at you, and I've never flinched. Not once. But Ethel? Umberly's tits. She snapped her fingers and had me. I would have died for her. Wanted to. Then you showed up. Armed to the teeth. You could have killed me. Been right to. But you didn't. You have an old captain's thanks. You're welcome in the Maid. Anytime. The old girl is as much your home as she is mine. And I'll gut anyone who says otherwise.
Okay, now you see she has a green outline. And her attitude towards us is super high.
I'm going to find a barrel of whiskey and drink it. Oh, bloody hells.
And we'll be able to interact with her more now upstairs. Okay. But first, we have the opportunity to explore things down here a little bit. The first is the Gilded Chest. So some gold ingot, another really good Arcane Cultivation elixir to take. Gets back up to a level 4 spell slot. There's all sorts of other stuff that you can take down here, but Auntie Ethel...
Anything of use?
You can search her and you get the Ring of Feywild Sparks. So this is actually different. Didn't this used to be the amulet? Wasn't it? Or has this always been here? I can't remember now. Oh no, you get that back. I'll get that back when I go to talk to Mayrina. Okay, my fault. Yeah, so the Ring of Feywild Sparks. This is a sorcerer-specific option in that if you have the Tides of Chaos active, you will always trigger Wild Magic when casting spells. Now, Wild Magic is both good and bad. In this game, it's actually slightly more good than bad. But this is going to guarantee that you're going to get a Wild Magic Surge every single time. So if you really are into that chaotic sorcerer build, this is absolutely the ring for you. It's not going to be something that we're going to be using on our playthrough. But yeah, it's incredibly funny to watch everything that you do have a wild magic surge to go along with it. So now we can make our way out the front again. And now you do have the opportunity to go look around in this room. Okay, so there's other stuff, and again, there's some more of these potions that she makes that we kind of talked about in the honor mode playthrough a little bit ago. There's only 2 of them that are of any use at all. The others have a bunch of negatives that go along with them. Neither one of these 2 or neither one of these 3 are good, if I remember right. I don't think it's butterflies in the stomach. But you can sell them. You can pick them up and sell them. In here, though, is some really good camps or crafting supplies. And again, as always, there's more whispering masks laying around that you can pick up and sell. Because there's no need for them anymore. Okay, another poisoned apple. Throw back to the swamp, and then here you have all the peculiar flower traps. Now you don't have to disarm these. There's 5 of them. There's no need to take it back around that way.
Step carefully. There's a trap.
Failed the survival check.
The pride of the gate.
Failed it again.
One move ahead.
Let's just go over here and
At the
pick it
ready.
up. And in here, you're normally going to get a fairly high level spell here. Scroll a Circle of Death, 8d6 necrotic, is really, really good. You can cast this from range as well. It's an 18-meter spell. And a Potion of Supreme Healing, I'll take that too. Now we'll just make our way back, because we don't need to disarm these just to get back to the same spot we were in. And I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so now we have a few things to do. So first of all, we'll head back into the Blushing Mermaid. We're going to head back upstairs. Because now you see there's a bunch of dead bodies laying around here. These are all of the tipplesome patrons that were up here previously. Okay, they're all wearing whispering masks, and you can see that they were all carrying these grenades. Now these are actually interesting. Their scrap and shrapnel grenades are different from smoke powder bombs. You can see these only deal 1 damage. However, they are guaranteed to inflict the bleed condition. So if you have Bual's Benediction, like my party does in honor mode, then this is a guaranteed way to gain you advantage on all of your attacks against targets. By throwing this out there, causing bleeding against them, and then guaranteeing that you're going to have advantage against those targets. So they're not very useful for me here in this playthrough, but they are certainly useful. Okay, but a bunch of whispering masks. And you can see they're everywhere. So this fight does get a little intense if you're not ready for it. So what we're going to actually do, though, is fast travel back to the Baldur. I believe this resets it. While we're here, we'll put on the periaptive wound closure. Get the max HP every time. And let's head back to the Mermaid. I can't remember if I need to take a long rest to reset this, or if it resets just by me doing a fast travel and it resetting the map. Okay, so it looks like I need to take a long rest for her to show back up here in the Blushing Mermaid. And I believe if you talk to Bosun Gannett, I can't remember if his conversation is going to be broken now or not.
If you're here to complain that the booze tastes like piss,
Yeah,
I know.
it's not.
Anything else?
So this is before she respawns here. All of the conversations that you're going to have here in the Blushing Mermaid are as if the fight just took place, and that's it. Okay, so you're gonna still hear about the missing girl. There's options for Captain Grizzly as a hag, even though we know all of this isn't right. They're side by side with the options that go along with what should happen afterward. The conversations here are a little broke until she respawns inside the Blushing Mermaid.
Aye, and I didn't lift a finger to save her. It was like I was stuck in a fog, my mind addled from every direction. All I could hear was a voice telling me the captain was safe and well upstairs. Gives me the willies just thinking about it. Captain said you're one of us now, so far as I'm concerned, you're part of the crew, mate. Welcome to the Maid.
And he should now have a green outline.
Welcome back, mate. What can I get you? Oi, take your time.
And you can see that we got a 60% attitude increase for rescuing Captain Grizzly. Okay, and that's what rescuing Captain Grizzly does, is it gives you access to another merchant to be able to sell things at a better price. Now again, you're not buying a lot of stuff from him. It's really just camp supplies, which isn't a big deal now, but it does give you another place to clear out items. And again, it's not the best prices you can get, but it is one more person to be able to do that with.
Wishing you fair winds, mate.
So let's go finish up the quest here for Avenge the Hag Survivors. We also need to finish up the Save Vanra quest, but we'll do that last. So we're going to head back to what's his name's Old Garlow's here and turn this in.
to rest your head?
When they bloody let me rest my head.
Well, plenty don't even have that, have they?
Oh, it feels so full and happy.
She's dead, isn't she? Ethel is dead.
Yes! Fuck you, Ethel, you miserable old bat! Fuck you for telling me I'd be an awful mom. That I was nothing but a pregnant half-wit. Oh, and the girl? You saved her too, right? Oh, thank the gods! You hear that, Connor? Ethel is dead.
Oh, you didn't change back? You're still a zombie. I thought with Ethel gone... Never mind. I'll find another way to turn you back. Somehow.
Okay, so this is your option to kind of give Mayrina some closure here with Connor. I don't know that there's anything special with Connor after this. I don't think there's any way that he gets saved or anything like that, no matter what happens. So there's nothing in the game that I'm aware of that allows that to change, or for him to make another appearance somewhere after this. So it's probably best if you just kind of bring some closure to this. So I'm going to try the persuasion option here.
I know. Damn it. I know. Connor. I love you. I've loved you since we were kids. And you picked me bluebells and asked me to the summer fair. But you're gone. And this thing isn't you. Not anymore. Then why does it feel so terrible? Here. Thank you for killing Ethel. But I'd like you to go now. I'll be fine. I know I'm stronger than this. I just need some time.
Okay, and that gives you the face semblance amulet. Now this is incredibly powerful. I wish I had this amulet in Act 1.5. But it gives you advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, which helps you avoid debilitating spells and that sort of stuff incredibly well. It's a very, very useful amulet. However, in the amulet slots for most of your characters, you're going to be competing with several things. Now, I think this has enough of a benefit that it can certainly be placed in one of a couple spots. And for me, I believe Kurz has the shield of the Amulet of the Harpers, correct, to cast shield. I think we have enough places that are able to cast shield. So giving him advantage on those saving throws is going to be a big deal. That's going to keep him from getting debilitated or taken out of the fight by a whole person, or a Tasha's hideous laughter, or something like that. It's going to help avoid that quite a bit more. So I'm definitely going to give those over to him. And now, that should have finished up Avenge the Hag Survivors. So now we can also go finish up Save Vanra. And Vanra's right up where we were, actually. Right here. We'll go to the lower city wall again. We can head right around the corner. And her house is right here.
Bake something. You love baking. Remember? I know.
You brought her back. You brought back my sweet, sweet girl. It was everything. I'll never forget it. Here. A token from the pirate life I left behind. Thank you for being braver than half this city put together.
Now again, you don't have to complete this quest.
Would you like that?
If you just kill the hag, you can miss out on this. And that would be a shame. Because this is one of the best weapons in the game for builds that are specifically meant to take advantage of it. So first, you get the Amulet of the Wind Rider, which gives you Ride the Winds, which is gaseous form, basically, that you're now able to cast once per long rest. It also gives you Gust of Wind, so which pushes enemies back and forces them off balance. Now, off balance is a condition for one turn where they have disadvantage on strength and dexterity checks, and attack rolls have advantage against it. This is once per short rest, so can be very useful. However, Gust of Wind, where it really comes into play, is when someone casts, like, Cloud Kill on you, or something like that. This allows you to push all of the clouds away in an area around you. So it can be very, very useful for that. Unfortunately, this amulet isn't one that's really worth equipping all of the time, but it's something to keep in your backpack. So if you need to clear something, like, for instance, a poison cloud or something from a trap, or something like that, or if you need to get into a small area where you need to have gaseous form, or the cat form, or something like that, smaller than a gnome that you can shapeshift into, this gives you a free cast of gaseous form that you can use to get through those areas. The other thing, though, is the real prize here, and that's Duelist Prerogative. Now, as I said, this is one of the best weapons in the game for your dexterity builds. Now, this is built around a single-handed weapon only type of playstyle. It's a rapier. It's finesse, which means it's not light and finesse, which means you can't dual wield this without having the feet to do so, because it's not a light weapon. It's finesse, so it's dexterity based. Now, forget about the psychic damage. That's coming from something else. You can see that this does 1d8 plus 6 plus 1d4 necrotic damage. There aren't that many weapons in the game, like I've said previously, that deal necrotic damage. Well, let me rephrase that. There are few different specific types of weapons that deal it, but there are quite a few of those weapons actually sitting out there. They're the mace that does it, and there's also a flail that does it, but the mace is actually a really popular weapon as you're going through Act 2. You can find it in a bunch of different locations. But as far as different weapon types go, necrotic is fairly rare to see. This does 1d4, it's a +3 weapon. Then you get into the main hand only type of option here. So even if you did have the dual perk, the dual wielding perk, and you put this in your offhand, you would not get the benefit of this. So it's got to be in your main hand. So while you're in main hand and your offhand is empty, and that means empty. That is not the same as the duelist fighting style, or the dueling fighting style, where you can have a shield in your offhand. That is not the case with duelist prerogative. With duelist prerogative, your offhand has to be empty. That means you cannot use a shield. If you have the dual wielding perk, you can't put another weapon over there. It has to be empty. But when it is empty, your crit starts at a 19. So that's an additional 5% crit chance to go with. Now, I'm using the Knife of the Undermountain King on Will right now to get that. But Will also has a shield in his offhand. So if I were to swap to this, which for Will, remember, he's proficient in rapiers. That was his thing as the Blade of Frontiers, or that is his thing as the Blade of Frontiers. Well, I guess he's the Blade of the Avernus now. I take that back.
Bake something. You love bacon.
He'd have to be using it one-handed with no shield. Now, you can certainly do that. You're just sacrificing armor class. Okay? The thing about it is that you also gain an additional reaction per turn. Now that can be very important. And one of the ways that the builds can take advantage of this is if you use a Sentinel build. So my Astarian build on the Paladin playthrough is built around this weapon. He's a Sentinel thief, or a Sentinel Gloommaster, or Gloomstalker assassin. So if he gets approached, or if he attacks somebody, and I'm within range of the person that attacked them, Sentinel's gonna proc, and I'm gonna be able to use Duelist Prerogative to strike out at him. But then, if somebody else does it, or if they attack again because they have extra attack, I can use Duelist Prerogative to strike back at them again after that. So I can make 2 full damage main hand attacks against an enemy that is attacking somebody near me within range. So Sentinel really procs well with this because that Sentinel reaction, or proc, is a reaction. On any hit with a melee weapon, you can use a reaction to deal additional necrotic damage equal to your proficiency bonus. Our proficiency bonus is +4 right now. So with this, you can also, instead of using 2 full-on attacks, you can use 1 attack and your reaction to deal additional necrotic damage. And then you could, again, wait for Sentinel to proc again. You wouldn't be able to use Withering Cut on the second one because you wouldn't have a reaction. Okay, but this is why it gives you an additional reaction, is so that you have the option to use Withering Cut if you want. The next thing about it is, and that's weird, I'll accept it and then I'll look at it in my inventory, is Challenge to a Duel. This is provoke enemy, or compelled duel. It's the same thing as the level 1 spell that I get for my Oath of Vengeance Paladin. So this, however, you can do every turn as a bonus action. Okay? So this is another thing that makes this weapon extraordinarily powerful. If you've got a high armor class, you can get a main enemy to attack you, it's going to inflict bleeding on the target immediately when it happens, when you trigger it. And now if you've got Bual's Benediction again, you have advantage on all the attacks against that target. Now you can do this every turn. So you can keep using a bonus action to do this turn after turn, get everybody to only attack you, and then they all have bleeding on them so that all of your party has an advantage against attacks against all of them. So another thing that this can synergize very well with certain builds. And the last is Dueler's Enthusiasm. So this again resets per turn, right? It's a bonus action. So again, you're kind of choosing Challenge to Duel or Dueler's Enthusiasm with your bonus action, unless you're a thief and you have multiple bonus actions. While you're not dual wielding, which you won't be with this, you can make an additional melee attack with the Dueler. And again, now we're at a point where we could potentially make 4 full damage main hand attacks with Dueler's Prerogative against targets that are near us. We can use our full action to do it. If we have extra attack, like we do, you could make another attack with it. Then you could use your bonus action. And then if you trigger Sentinel twice with your 2 reactions, you can make 2 more attacks. So at its base, you're guaranteed 4 of those. If you have extra attack, you could make 5, maybe even 6. So this thing can dish out a lot of damage for a single-handed weapon. You just have to give up a shield, basically, or an offhand weapon to be able to use it. Okay, so incredibly powerful weapon in the game and not to be overlooked. If you want to see how powerful it really is, go look at my Astarion build and the Paladin playthrough, and you can see how well he uses this weapon. Okay, so some good things there that we picked up, right? And I'm going to have a serious conversation with myself off stream about Duelist Prerogative, because the question really is, do I need a 26 armor class, or can I be okay with a 23? Because that's what I'm giving up when I get rid of the shield. But I'm gaining a crap ton here with Duelist Prerogative. So it's kind of one of those things. And I can also, now my dex is 16, but I can also bind this. So yeah, I'm now gaining additional damage out of it because it's now bound as my packed weapon. So I may end up going this way and then just swapping out to the shield and Faller Alluve for specific times when I want the extra thunder damage from people from the melody. But Duelist Prerogative is just so very, very good.
Open to interpretation.
Okay, so now that finishes up the Save Vanra quest. So let's take a quick look and kind of see what we have left to do out here. So if we open up our map and look, doesn't look like there's a whole lot. We can probably deal with this encounter down here now. And yeah, we haven't done anything here. So we haven't gone into the
Need to find a way forward.
Devil's Fee. So with our last 5 minutes here, we can go in here.
Yeah, but I dared you first, so you have to go. Fiend worship. I'm not trying to pick a fight, Will, but it really seems like a blatantly ill-advised idea. You're scared.
It's the furthest thing from my mind.
Okay, and in here there are a couple of things to do, and I believe these are
The exact Sombra of their evil
Arcana checks.
Could be most anything.
So it's definitely Will with his +5. Where is... Ah, here it is. We're gonna maximize our chances here with Will. Okay, now Will's intelligence is 12, so we're going to prop that up with the warped headband of intellect. And now Will's Arcana check is +7.
A long way to go still.
Okay, and in here there are several things you can click on.
A real fiend skull. And by the size, I'm guessing a gargantuan. That's curious. The head of a death devil, straight from the fugue plane. More hideous than I imagined. The sort of thing only a diabolist would collect.
Okay, and that's kind of a clue. And this one doesn't seem to be working. There's another one. There it is.
Interesting.
Oh, I
These
failed it.
horns look almost real.
There's another one, I think, on her desk. Or maybe in the back. But let's get a refresh on
My faith will guide me.
the guidance.
Ever onward.
The portrait's eyes seem to follow you around the room. Did it just wink at you?
Well, well, infernal gems, straight out of Minoris. A rare sight outside of the Hells.
Okay. So I think you only have to know 2.
Looking
I think
ahead.
you only have to pass 2 of those checks and get the inspiration for dialogue to change, because you learned from Will that these are sort of things only a diabolist would collect.
I welcome thee to the Devil's Fee, where every hellish curio's a rarity. So merry be and shop with glee.
Now opening these, passing those checks, opens up this option here. You're going to be able to see some additional items that she's selling, and you really want to do this because the objects that she's selling beforehand are fairly useless. This list of items is very, very good.
Well, well. It's been a while since I've had such discerning custom. Here, you may browse my more curated selection.
And we'll quickly go through these and then we'll end the live stream. And off stream, I may pick up a couple of these. because they can be very, very useful. So the first is the Caitiff Staff. Now this comes with Caitiff's Restoration as a class action. I mean, first you get a +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls, which is nice. But this is what it really is. You replenish one expended Warlock spell slot. Now, we have a bunch of Warlock dips and everything. So the Caitiff Staff here, once we're out of short rests, this is going to allow us to get it back. We can even get it back in the middle of combat by using an action. Now, it's going to take 2 actions because you have to equip the staff, and then you have to cast Caitiff's Restoration with it. But if you were in dire need of getting a Divine Smite back, or something like that, this is a way to do it. But either way, if you're not and you're out of action economy and you're out of combat, this is a great way to restore one of those Warlock spell slots. Okay, and that's what it's really useful for. The Hellbeard Halberd is one of the rare weapons that deals poison damage flat out, and it's a flat +6 poison. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not a dice roll, it's just a flat +6, which is a huge number in all actuality. That is a 1d10 poison on average. There's nothing that I'm aware of that deals 1d10 as a damage rider. So this is the equivalent of that on average over time with a +6 flat poison damage. So can be very useful, and if you pair this with things that proc on poison, you can really get some interesting builds out of it. The Shapeshifter Hat is useful for your shape-shifting, specifically your Circle of the Moon Druids. This will get you an additional wild shape, which you never seem to have enough of. This additional charge is restored upon taking a long rest, and you get in its nature +1, which isn't really a big deal. Cloak of the Weave is amazing. Just like the Caitiff Staff, you get a +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. However, it also has an absorb elements effect. Once per short rest, you take half damage from the next elemental attack targeting you. So any one of the elements, if you get hit with it, you're going to take half damage from it. And then your next attack, whatever it is, as long as it's an attack, is going to deal an additional 1d6 of that element type. So you basically absorb that damage, and then you dish it out as 1d6 additional damage rider next turn. Now, this is not just a damage rider, this is a damage source as a damage rider, which if you're not familiar with the difference is, I'm not going to explain it here. You can go look it up on the wiki. But this will proc full damage riders from all of your other damage riders as soon as it procs. So you're going to do your weapon damage or your spell damage. It's going to have all of the damage riders on it, and then as soon as this 1d6 element damage procs, it's going to proc all of your damage riders with it again. So it's a way to double up on that damage when you deal it. The Gemini gloves are again really, really good. Cantrips targeting foes and allies can target an additional creature. The same target can be chosen twice. So with your Eldritch Blast, it basically gives you an additional target that you can use for Eldritch Blast. If you're doing 3, this will do 4. Okay? If you're doing 4, you can now hit 5. But it also works with all cantrips. So if you're looking to prevent healing on multiple targets, then using this with Bone Chill can be very beneficial to help multiple targets prevent heals. If you're looking to invoke or put Radiating Orb stacks and Reverberation on multiple people, you can dual cast your Sacred Flame. All of that sort of stuff, and you can turn this on and off when you want to use it. So very, very useful set of gloves. Last are the Spell-Seeking Gloves. When you make a spell attack roll, you can spend a sorcery point to gain advantage. It costs 1 sorcery point per spell slot level. Cantrips cost 1 sorcery point. So again, with these, if you use this, if you turn this on, you can, and you make a spell attack roll, like with Eldritch Blast, you can use your sorcery points to gain advantage on those attacks. So again, these last 3 items for your spellcasters, and the last 2 especially for your Warlock Eldritch Blast builds, are incredibly useful. Okay, so off stream I'm probably going to pick these up. Now, in looking at them, I'm probably going to pick up a few of these things. So I don't think I'm going to be over 1,600 gold. Doesn't look like I will be. So I'm not going to raise her attitude. I'm just going to buy them. And I'll take care of that and some other inventory management off stream.
You've seen what I have for thee. Remember, discretion is key at the Devil's Fee.
And we're going to come back and deal with Helsik some more coming up next week. So we'll drop a save here. And that will be a great point for us to end the stream. So, as always, thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of your support, especially through the past few weeks here as we've dealt with the hurricane and the lack of internet and the streams not happening, and then me getting COVID. Thank you all for your support during, the difficult past month or so. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate it, because, as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.